Hey everybody, I'm Joey and today I'm back with another bite-sized cooking hack. Today we're talking Wagyu steak, so follow me to learn more about this mythical meat. Today we're here to talk about Wagyu steaks, and I think we need to start with, how do you say this weird word? Wagyu, Wagyu, Wagyu. Hey, if the way I pronounce it annoys you, you should hear me say Worcestershire. 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 I'm gonna say Wagyu, and that's natural to my tongue. And more important than how to pronounce it is what it tastes like. And it's tasty, and that should be just enough. But there's a lot of confusion around this meat as far as I'm concerned. You see a lot of it out there. I'm seeing it more and more in places like Walmart and other chain stores, but what is it really? Well, the first thing you need to know is that 100% Wagyu comes from Japan, and it's very rare in the United States. Most of what's being sold is a cross between Wagyu and Angus. So let's take a look at these three steaks. We're gonna start right over here. This is a certified Angus beef choice steak. This represents the majority of the meat you're gonna find on your store shelves. It's a ribeye. As you can see right here, there's a lot of fat naturally in a ribeye, and I think that's why a lot of people really prefer this steak. The fat is where it's at. That's what gives beef, meat in general, a lot of its flavor. And you're gonna see a lot of that fat right here in the spinalis. That's that portion of the ribeye steak that wraps up right above this fat cap that runs right in between it. And this is some of the most highly prized and desired cuts anywhere on the cow. And now come in real nice and close. Come on, wizard. You can see that little specks of marbling, and this represents, your typical steak. We covered it in another video, but what's usually on the store shelves is select, choice, and prime steaks. Now, prime is much harder to find than choice. Prime represents about 7% of the total meat supply across the entire United States. When you're eating at that high-end steakhouse, part of the reason that steak tastes better than it does at home is because they're using a higher grade of beef. There's some industrial grades as well. We're not gonna talk about the dog and cat food here. I don't suggest you eat those. Try them. Let us know in the comments below if you've had them. We'd love to hear from you, but they're not gonna taste nearly as good. So right over here, we have Wagyu steaks sent to us from our friends at Wiens Wagyu. We've included a link in the description below if you wanna check them out for yourselves. But not all Wagyu is created equal. And a matter of fact, even the name itself can be just a little bit confusing. Why? Because the vast majority of Wagyu sold in the United States is actually a cross. It's a cross between Wagyu and Angus beef, which is much more available here in the US. And that's what we have right here. We have a cross steak, part Angus, part Wagyu. You could call it Wangus, or you could call it Angyu. I don't care, but it's still very delicious. It's gonna be more marbled than even prime. Prime has about 10% of the steak is marbling. On your choice, I think it's gonna be closer to 7. This is gonna be somewhere between 12 and 20%, generally speaking, and look at that. All that marbling right inside. Even compared to the choice, you can see that this cross has much more marbling than its counterpart, the choice. These are all ribeyes right here. The other thing that you'll hear this called is American Wagyu. So anytime you're seeing American Wagyu, you're really talking about a cross steak. Right over here, you have the real deal. This is 100% Wagyu beef. There's way more intermuscular fat. It's much finer fat. And it's really not about whether one of these steaks is better or worse. I think a lot of times it comes down to what's your budget. I don't know what percentage of the total beef supply is Wagyu or Wagyu cross, but if prime represents 7%, Wagyu is probably 1% of the total beef available. It's gonna be really difficult to find in stores. You can take these two steaks right here. They can come in at the exact same weight. You're not gonna be able to eat nearly as much of this 100% Wagyu. Why? Because it's rich. You're gonna fill up on this much faster than you will on this choice. Trust me, I just wanted to educate everyone at home about what they're seeing sold online or in stores. It's typically gonna be a Wagyu cross. Doesn't make it bad. Braden sells this Wagyu cross as well. Very delicious product. It's gonna be a little bit cheaper than the full-blood Wagyu. Look, you gotta try out Wagyu for yourself, whether it's 100% or this cross. For me, it's that special occasion. It's bougie meat, baby. It's the top of the line. You really can't eat much better than this. Follow along in our next video as we try this and share back with you, but the only way to get the real experience here is to order it from yourself. Check it out and let us know what you think in the comments below. Now I'm gonna get to cooking. I'll see you guys next time.